in this video, we'll be going over the SOH CAH TOA problems from the Unit 8 test. So this question wanted to know which trig ratio would be used for tan U. So tan comes from TOA. So let's go ahead and label our triangle. So remember, you always want to label in the order HOA, where H stands for hypotenuse, O stands for opposite the angle, and then A stands for adjacent to angle. So my hypotenuse here would be 73, and then we're using angle U. So here, opposite of angle U would be 48, and then so the leftover side or adjacent to angle U would be 55. And since we're using tan U, we're using TOA. TOA has the letters O and A. So we would say T is tan, then our angle is U equals. Here in the picture, O is next to 48. A is next to 55. So tan U would be 48 over 55. Here in this next picture, we're solving for angle X, so let's start by labeling our sides. So we have our hypotenuse, which is opposite the 90-degree angle. Then if you look at angle X, opposite of that would be the blank side. Our leftover side is our adjacent. Again, you always do HOA. This time we're actually solving, so we're going to scratch out the side that's blank, which was the O. So we're only using H and A. H and A come out in CAH. So for this question, we're going to use CAH. And remember, the C in CAH stands for cos. So cos angle X equals, here our A is 14, our H is 18. Since we're solving for angle X, we want to get the X by itself. So we have to move cos to the other side. When you do that, you're doing the opposite of cos, or the inverse of cos, so you use the little -1 to represent that. From here, we would plug this into our calculator. Remember here, if yours is different and it tells you to choose between basic and scientific, choose the scientific calculator. So here I'm going to choose cos -1 and then 14 over 18, which comes out to about 38.9. This next question, we're going to go through the same steps. So I'm going to start by labeling my hypotenuse, which is the side opposite the 90-degree angle. Then here, angle is the 18 degrees. Opposite that would be side X. Our leftover side or blank side is adjacent, and we usually cross off the one that's next to that blank side. So since we're left with H and O, we're using SO. The S in SO stands for sine. Our angle is 18 degrees. O is X and H is 11. Here X is on top, so we're going to multiply. So our answer for X is going to be 11 times sine 18. I usually put the one that was in the same side as X first, and then I multiply the one that has the sine, cos, or tan. So here we're going to plug this into the calculator. So this comes out to about 3.4. question 4, we're solving for angle x, or sorry, for side x. This should have said side x. So here, let's go ahead and label our sides. So opposite the 90 would be our hypotenuse. Opposite the 71 degrees is our O. Leftover side is our A. Here I'm going to scratch out H because that's the blank side. I'm left with O and A, which means we're using TOA. Remember, the T in TOA stands for tan. Here our angle is 71 degrees. O is 14 and A is X. Here X is on the bottom, which means we're going to divide. So I'm going to use the 14 that's on the same side as X, but this time I'm dividing the tan 71. And from here we can go to the calculator. And I'm going to plug in 14 divided by tan 71. That comes out to 4.8. Next, we're going to continue using SOH CAH TOA, but now we have a word problem. So it says Nick is stuck at the top of a Ferris wheel. His mother is standing 38 feet from the base. If the angle of elevation, since it's an angle of elevation problem, we're going to draw a regular upwards right triangle. And it's saying that angle of elevation from Nick's mom to Nick is 73 degrees. His mom is down here. And the angle that she's looking up at Nick is 73 degrees. It says his mother is 38 feet from the base of the wheel. So that would mean, let's say that the Ferris wheel's here. She's standing 38 feet away. This question wants to know how far off the ground is Nick. That would be the height. So this would be our X. So now we can start labeling our picture. Across the 90 is our H. Across 73 is our O. And our A. Here H is on the blank side, so we're not going to use it. Since we're left with O and A, we're using TOA. So tan 73 degrees equals, here O is X, A is 38. X is on top, so we're going to multiply. So it's going to be 38 times tan 73 degrees. This comes out to about 124.3. This next question is also a word problem. This time, though, it says angle of depression, which means you're from the top looking down. So we're going to do an upside down right triangle. And it says from a lighthouse. So let's say our lighthouse is here. And it's looking down to a boat in the water. And the angle that it's looking down is 14 degrees. It says the boat is 52 feet from the base of the lighthouse. So it's 52 feet away from the lighthouse. Let's say the base of the lighthouse is down here. It's 52 feet away from that. And then it says, what is the height of the lighthouse? Remember, height is your vertical, so up and down. So this would be my X. Now I'm going to label my hypotenuse. 14 is my angle, so X would be opposite. 52 would be adjacent. So here we're using O and A, which comes out in TOA. So tan 14 degrees equals, our O is X, our A is 52. 6x is on top, we're going to multiply. So X would be 52 times tan 14 degrees. And now we can plug this into the calculator. That comes about to about 12.965. Hold on, I think I made a little mistake somewhere. 532, not 52. So 532 times tan, 14. Comes out to 132.6. These are all the SOH CAH TOA problems from the test. Remember, you always want to start by labeling your hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle. Then you look at the given angle. You're going to look at the side opposite that. That's your O. The one next to it that's left over is your A. If you're solving for a side or angle, then you would scratch out the blank side, the one that you don't have any info to help you with. And the leftover letters tell you if you're going to use SOH, CAH, or TOA. SOH is sine, CAH is cos, TOA is tan. After you do sine, cos, or tan, you always put your angle, then equals, and your fraction depends on what letters are next to what numbers or x in your picture. Remember, if x is on top, you multiply. If x is on the bottom, you divide. If x is the angle, you have to move the sine, cos, or tan to the other side and do the inverse or opposite where you put the little -1.